Anh viết xong rồi nè em.
Đẹp quá, để em ghi thêm chút nữa nha.
Vâng, em ghi đi.
Hello, dear viewers. Today we bring you a sweet and touching story about the love journey of Huyen and Dae. After many months of waiting and overcoming life's challenges together, the couple finally decided to choose April, the season of new beginnings, to hold their wedding. They carefully prepared their wedding invitations, booked the reception, and invited relatives and friends from near and far to celebrate with them. During these joyful days of preparation, both of them felt excited and hopeful about the future, where they would build a warm home together, filled with love and laughter. If you enjoy heartfelt, real-life love stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share the video to support us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next touching story. After many months of waiting and quietly nurturing their love through life's small challenges, Huyen and Dae finally made a decision that filled their hearts with excitement. They would hold their wedding in April. For them, April was not just another month on the calendar. It was the season when the weather turned warm and gentle, when flowers began to bloom again after the long, cold days, and when the world seemed full of new beginnings. To Huyen, April symbolized hope and renewal, while today it felt like the perfect time to start a new chapter together. When they looked at the calendar and circled the month, both of them felt an indescribable joy spreading through their hearts. Their journey to this moment had not been rushed. Huyen and Dae had spent years building their relationship slowly and sincerely. They had supported each other through difficult days, celebrated small victories together, and learned how to understand one another's dreams and worries. Because of that, their decision to marry was not only romantic, but also deeply meaningful. It was a promise that the two of them were ready to walk side by side through the rest of their lives. When they gently told Huyen that April would be the perfect time for their wedding, she looked at him with shining eyes and nodded happily. At that moment, neither of them needed many words. They both knew their hearts had made the same choice. The idea of a wedding in April quickly filled their conversations with excitement. They began imagining the bright sunshine of the spring season, the laughter of family members gathering together, and the moment when they would stand in front of everyone to promise their love. Huyen imagined wearing a beautiful white dress, walking slowly toward Dae, who would be waiting for her with a warm smile. Dae, on the other hand, pictured the moment he would take her hand and promise to protect and care for her for the rest of his life. Every time they talked about these dreams, their hearts beat a little faster. For Huyen, the thought of becoming Dae's wife felt both emotional and magical. She often found herself smiling when thinking about the day they would officially become husband and wife. Sometimes she would quietly imagine their future home, a simple place filled with laughter, warm meals, and the comfort of knowing they would always have each other. Dae shared the same feelings. To him, the wedding was not just a celebration, but the beginning of a lifelong partnership. He wanted to build a family with Huyen, support her dreams, and grow old together, while looking back at all the memories they would create. As the decision became real, both of them felt a mixture of excitement and gentle nervousness. The wedding day still seemed a little far away, but in their hearts it already felt close. Whenever they looked at each other, they could see the same hope reflected in one another's eyes. April will soon arrive, bringing with it the most important day of their lives, the day when two loving hearts would finally become one, beginning a journey of marriage filled with love, trust, and endless happiness. Once the wedding month had been chosen, Huyen and Dae quickly began the exciting journey of preparing for their big day. Every morning seemed to start with new ideas, new plans, and new conversations about the wedding. For them, the preparations were not a burden, but a joyful experience they could share together. Each small decision felt meaningful because it was helping shape one of the most important days of their lives. One of the first things they focused on was designing their wedding invitations. Huyen wanted the invitations to feel elegant but warm, something that would reflect the gentle love they had built over the years. Together, they visited a small design studio and carefully looked through many different styles. Some invitations were decorated with bright flowers, others with soft gold patterns. After discussing it for a long time, they chose a simple but beautiful design with light pastel colors and delicate floral details. When they saw their names printed side by side on the sample card, both of them felt a quiet happiness that was hard to describe. It was the first time their names appeared together as a bride and groom. After the invitations were finalized, they moved on to the next important task, choosing the wedding venue and planning the reception. They visited several restaurants and wedding halls, comparing the atmosphere, decorations, and menus. Dae paid careful attention to every detail because he wanted everything to be perfect for Huyen. Meanwhile, Huyen imagined how the hall would look when it was filled with flowers, lights, and smiling guests. Eventually, they found a beautiful place that felt warm and welcoming, exactly what they had hoped for. The manager showed them different decoration ideas, from elegant white flowers to soft glowing lights across the stage. As Huyen stood in the center of the hall, she could almost picture herself walking down the aisle toward Dae. Planning the wedding menu was another special moment for them. They sat together, discussing dishes that both families would enjoy. They wanted their guests to feel welcomed and appreciated, so they carefully chose a menu that balanced traditional flavors with modern dishes. Every decision was made with excitement, laughter, and sometimes playful disagreement. But those small disagreements only made the experience more memorable, because in the end, they always found a choice that made them both happy. Once the invitations were printed, Huyen and Dae began sending them to relatives and friends near and far. Some invitations were delivered personally to close family members, while others were sent to friends living in different cities. Each time they handed an invitation to someone they loved, they received warm smiles, congratulations, and heartfelt blessings. Their parents were especially happy, often talking proudly about the upcoming wedding with neighbors and relatives. As the guest list grew longer, the excitement surrounding their wedding also grew stronger. Friends called to confirm their attendance, relatives sent messages of joy, and everyone seemed eager to witness the special day. Seeing how many people cared about them made Huyen and Dae feel deeply grateful. Through every step of preparation, from invitations to decorations and the wedding feast, the couple felt closer than ever. They were not only planning a celebration, but also building the first memories of their married life together. With each task completed, the wedding day felt a little closer, and their hearts became even more filled with anticipation and happiness. As the days passed and the preparations were nearly complete, Huyen and Dae finally reached a peaceful moment where most of the important work had already been done. The wedding invitations had been sent out, the venue had been booked, and the decorations and menu had all been carefully arranged. Now, instead of rushing from one task to another, the couple could slow down and simply wait for the special day that would soon arrive. Yet this waiting period was not empty or boring. For Huyen and Dae, it was filled with excitement, dreams, and countless conversations about the future they would soon share together. Many evenings, after finishing their daily work, the two of them liked to sit quietly together. Sometimes they would take a walk under the soft evening sky, while other times they would simply sit on the small porch outside their home, enjoying the gentle breeze. During these peaceful moments, their conversations often turned to the upcoming wedding day. Huyen would smile shyly as she imagined wearing her wedding dress, walking slowly toward Dae while their families and friends watched with joyful eyes. The thought alone made her heart beat faster. Dae, on the other hand, often imagined the moment when he would stand at the front of the ceremony, waiting for Huyen to appear. He pictured the soft music playing, the guests turning their heads, and the beautiful moment when Huyen would walk toward him with a bright and emotional smile. In his mind, that moment would feel like time itself had slowed down. All the years they had spent loving and supporting each other would lead to that single unforgettable step toward the altar. Sometimes their conversations moved beyond the wedding itself and into the future they hoped to build together. Huyen talked about creating a warm and loving home where both families would always feel welcome. She imagined cooking meals together, decorating their small house with flowers, and filling every room with laughter. Dae listened carefully to her dreams and added his own hopes. He spoke about working hard to build a stable life for them, protecting Huyen and making sure she would always feel safe and loved. For him, marriage was not only about romance, but also about responsibility, partnership, and loyalty. Even their families could sense the happiness surrounding the couple. Whenever relatives visited, they would talk about the upcoming wedding with great excitement. Parents discussed traditions, relatives offered advice, and everyone seemed eager to celebrate the union of Huyen and Dae. These conversations made the couple realize how many people were supporting them and wishing them a joyful future. As the wedding day drew closer, the feeling of anticipation grew stronger. Sometimes Huyen felt a little nervous, wondering if everything would go perfectly on the big day. But whenever she shared those worries, Dae would gently reassure her with a warm smile. He would remind her that the most important thing was not the decorations or the ceremony itself, but the love they shared and the promise they were about to make. Soon, the long-awaited day would finally arrive. On that day, in front of family, friends, and the people who loved them most, two separate lives would officially become one. Huyen and Dae knew that their journey as husband and wife was only beginning, but they were ready to walk that path together, with trust, devotion, and a love that had grown stronger with every passing day.